Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and this is now the second live stream that we've done today, but this is our very first tools working group. Was that audio coming through for everybody else? I think I've got an open window.
Yeah, I could hear you.
Some cool. So getting over here, this is the Google Docs that we are using for our tools working group, and we were talking about what tools that we're going to unpack today. And uh, the image, and this is something that I should probably throw in that we used for the video thumbnail, and to give some credit to Photoshop AI was created using by TrueCat using Photoshop AI. I've not personally used Photoshop or Adobe that much, but looking forward to that being one of the tools that we evaluate here for the art generation of. And one of the things too that's worth mentioning, I mentioned this is day three. This image here will likely be the image that we use for day two. But I thought it would be fun to talk about it here tonight since this is the tools working group for that. So this Google Docs, this is linked, very easy to find if you go to AiAgents.Box.org on our link tree, and it should be linked in the description as well. And going to start off with our FELG culture, fun, earning, learning, and giving. And to get down here to our agenda. So, did you want to just start off, TrueCat, by demonstrating how that you went through the process of creating the image that's on our video thumbnail here tonight?
Sure, I don't, I mean, as far as I know, Photoshop will not even generate something even close to that. So I won't actually try to recreate that one, if that's what you were thinking. But I um, can share my screen and show you what Photoshop looks like when it's working on this stuff. Now, I should preface by saying too, that I'm not an expert in this. And if anyone's watching who knows how to use Photoshop AI tools, they'd probably be horrified. I have even just learned today some more about how it all works by playing around. But having said that, I will share.
Well, we are all learning here together. So you've done way more with image generation. I just hack some stuff together and snag it, quite honestly. And it's pretty like 1990s-ish, but it's
Well, this looks 1990s, what you can see here. But what I was playing with, and I'll go back to the beginning, but I created this image, and I what I've learned today is how to take parts of the image and then change it or add things in. So when I first created this image, I think the prompt was something like, travelers standing on the edge of an abyss, looking out at the wondrous possibilities ahead or something. And they were looking out on quite a plain valley. And so what I did was select this area down the bottom and say something like make it a lush valley full of vegetation. And then so then it just replaced that area of the image, which I didn't know how to do before. Likewise, I took the sky and it was just a blue sky, but I said, put in a sunrise. And so now it's got the different sky. And then just for fun, I took the people out because people are always pretty terrible, I've found. I don't know. There's probably other programs that do it better, but it seems to make people very wonky and not accurate at all. So I just for a bit of fun, I asked it to make a Porsche sitting there And it's funny because it's all gone now, of course, but the first attempts at a Porsche were quite entertaining. It came up with a drone and a motorcycle, and then I changed Porsche to sports car, and it got slightly better. And this one was the best of the bunch in terms of having the Porsche parked on the cliff top. But uh, so the learning from that is, the prompts really matter. But anyway, if I do a new one, I'll show you what happens from scratch. So this is just a new document in Photoshop, and you can see down the bottom that it's just with the brand new document, you've got the option to generate an image. So clicking on that gives you a lot of options, and I haven't explored them all. Um, I think this is just inspiration in terms of style, but you can also upload one if you want to, if you have an image that you want it to kind of match the style. Um, Otherwise, I think you can just choose one of these to remix, it says, and make your own. But anyway, so any ideas for a prompt?
I am so new to the whole prompting idea. So that's like I am definitely not a prompting guru. So I will defer to somebody else if somebody else wants to chime in some thoughts.
Well, I'm just making something up. So
I think the secret in using AI is in the prompting. So you're on the right track.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too, is that there's formats for improving your prompts. Um,
you can choose art or photo style. Um, if you don't select, I don't know if there's a default. And then there's all these different effects that you can also kind of choose to have or not. Um, I'll just leave it as all. So this is probably not a great prompt, but anyway, let's see what happens. Do 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 do, generating music. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, and this is where our live stream producer, if we had one, could like really elevate the the cinematic dun dun dun.
So you can remember in the prompt I said, listening to the mayor. There's no like there's no mayor. Um, so what we could do now is like you could probably select all of these people or, various different areas of it, or I could actually just kind of say select the bulk of them and then this is what I learned how to do today. Um, let's put a playground in there instead. This is really slapdash.
well, yeah, so like you could select the back half of the people kind of and replace them, right?
Yeah,
Like you're
that's what I've done just as a rough thing
nice.
now. It should, and it might even take all of them. No, see, it's just done a few. So to get really specific, you'd have to kind of try and select this whole area to replace, um, which I could do with an object selection tool, maybe. No.
And to go a little on the geeky side of things,
Hmm.
because we're here talking about AI agents. Do you know if Photoshop has any sort of API capabilities?
In terms of
Well, so
being able to
imagine
send it
like
elsewhere.
well, not sending it elsewhere, instead of you being the one that's working on creating the image here, the thoughts are is to create an AI agent that would be, like your graphic design studio, and it would be that your AI agent functioning as your graphic design studio would make an API call to like this AI image art generator to generate the image for his design studio and then do the prompting, or whatever. I don't know enough about what that could look like, but that's I think one of the bigger value propositions, and that's one of the reasons that Venice chat was compelling enough for me to, without even really experimenting, open our wallet and order their professional service on a monthly basis because it does have API capabilities, and that's one of the things that we're wanting to program our AI agent that would be the Yonks team design studio to, instead of me going and doing the prompting, have the AI agent design studio do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think Photoshop has that happening. But I don't know. I haven't investigated that.
Well, and just thinking out loud too, because I don't know, because there's a lot of blog posts that talk about, the top 10 art generator tools in 2025. And with this being, right around clicking over 2025, everybody's made a little, last updated January 2nd or whatever, so that juices their Google SEO rankings. And
Hmm.
I don't know if any of these blog posts are evaluating API capabilities to interface with a agentic AI framework. And that's one of the things that we need to also be cognizant of, is that right there, agentic AI, because that's another way of describing the framework for this level 3 era of AI evolution that we're in with the agents.
For sure.
Cool. Well,
Anyway, yeah, we can move off that. I haven't done a very good job of showing it off. I'm
no,
sure
no,
Adobe
that
won't be employing me anytime soon
no, no,
as
yeah. You are much better at the whole graphic, and that's one of the things that I haven't personally spent any time. And just to kind of like step away from talking about any specific tool here, I'm kind of operating, and before we went live, we were talking a little bit about just kind of seeing who had explored what. And I am Lotus, you were talking about using DAL-E a little bit, and I'll go ahead and fire up the live stream or the screen share here. But are you currently, with your exploration, I am Lotus, paying for any services, or are you just using the freemium model that they're providing?
all, all of them are free. I haven't paid. I paid for Canva a long time ago, but I quit paying for it.
Yeah, and Canva, we were talking about Canva during our office hours, and Canva is definitely a leader in the graphic design space. I think that Adobe tried to buy them out, and I think Canva said no. And did you want to drive this portion of the conversation, Ernest, talking about Canva?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tested it yet.
Okay, cool.
I got the bookmark. It looks pretty decent. Unless I'm This is the thing. Eliza could actually do everything that can do, but I'm not sure that it. I'll just have to see. I'm gonna start with the Eliza because Eliza can do image manipulation but I'm not sure what the interface for that looks like. So some of these platforms might have a better interface for communicating with like I'll just have to see.
Yeah, and my expectation, because I think that there's two very different things. Eliza is very new with not as probably a developed user experience, and I think that that's more geared for a dev-centric sort of dynamic, more for agents. And because like here, let me even just do an advanced search on Canva's site for API and see what so here's Canva apps SDK API reference, and this is one of the things that like so they do have some stuff. I have no idea. I'm not a dev, but that's one of the things that's an important. Um, I can't even remember what API stands for. It's where
Yeah, so
programs.
like the Eliza community has plugins that let you communicate through the APIs for like Twitter, for Discord, um, and some other social media platforms. And then as the community develops those plugins, you add them to your Eliza, and then they have uh, that capability to complete tasks um, and workflows that involve creating or posting or scheduling meetings or whatever.
Yeah,
Is how I'm
so
understanding it. Not quite sure completely. We'll
yeah,
see.
and we want just to amplify what we were talking about before we went live, talking about Eliza. One of the action items that I have is to do an Eliza OS deep dive as our next tools working group, and I'm going to create a let us meet here later today or tomorrow to get that coordinated for sometime next week based upon availability that people add into that. But one of the things that I was thinking of on content, like that's one of the things as a community that we can do, uh, not only for the benefit of our community members and the world at large, but also as an opportunity, like we're with our blog and newsletter on Paragraph, we're going to have the opportunity, like this image is the video thumbnail, but the image we're going to just the not the thumbnail aspect, but just the image is going to be our day two NFT, and people will be able to mint this NFT for like $1 or something like that. But gonna have fun with that throughout this 180 days. But going back to this idea around the content is create uh, content. Speaking of these AI art generators combined with agentic uh, I'm just going to put with AI agents because it's my belief that the agent shouldn't be doing the image creation. The value proposition is just doing workflow with the agent to go out to these platforms, whether it's Dolly or Canva or whatever. Because you think about like time cycles, like an agent, a program's got like 24 hours a day. They've got functionally an unlimited amount of time. And then like going through some review process where like just think about and I'm just thinking out loud, I don't know, somebody that's engaged more as a professional, but I've been on the wanting to get graphic design work, and I could see a similar thing being done with the your agent where you're saying, hey, no, tweak this a little bit or tweak that a little bit, and then I don't know what that interaction will look like, whether it'll be chat prompts or auditory prompts, but that's one of the things that we will unpack. But like having some sort of matrix where, because some of these art generators like might not have as good of capabilities for incorporating into our agent design dynamics, because one of the things that I want to do sooner than later is get a Yonks team agent army in place where it can start training it and getting it ready for conquering the world here in 2025. Because Tyler can attest, we need a lot more minions and bitches, as we like to say, and that's a throwback to the what is it? The minions. The what are those little yellow guys called? Gru's little. Are they minions? Is that what?
Minions. Yeah. They're
Fair.
minions.
So we want our whole little army of AI agent minions to do our bidding. So and that's one of the things that marketing too. But anyway, Canva and Photoshop, Otter. Let's see. Let's actually just go over here to um, AI art generators and see what Google has. Top 5 art generators. This is actually an older piece here. Canva. Let's actually do anytime past month. So here's a CNET and like Dolly. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know how much of these have open capabilities. Let's see. Best free Leonardo AI. That might be worth one exploring. That made it looks like a top 4 list here. Adobe Fire. We're now TrueCat, was it Adobe Firefly? I'm not sure what Adobe has as far as their suite of products. Is that what you were just demonstrating there?
I believe I didn't really know that Firefly was a separate thing, but I think you can use Firefly standalone, but then they've also incorporated it into Photoshop so that you can kind of use it straight away in the image editing program.
Just from just tools that graphic designers are more and just integrating the maybe the Firefly
Yeah,
on the back end. Gotcha.
yeah.
No, that makes complete sense. And let's see here. So Leonardo would probably be a good one to explore. And we've got this tab over here for Venice. Did we want to play around with that? I don't like I'm not a prompter at all, but we can play around here a little bit. I'm logged in on the pro account.
Yeah, let's see it.
All right. Well, we're hopping in. Venice AI. This is a Eric Voorhees project, and one of the things that's probably a lot different about Venice. And let me just go to the homepage here real quick. Venice. Oh, let me just do an incognito window where I'm not logged in. Venice.ai. So uncensored AI. So I think the big value proposition with this is privately. And what that means is that from what it's Venice never sees or stores your prompts or responses. And we know that that's definitely not the case with big tech. They love collecting all the little data snippets because we are largely the product in a lot of those platforms like Facebook and Google and whatnot. So anyway, generate images. I'm going to just click on this. Let me make this a little bit bigger here for everybody. Is that a little easier to see for everybody else? Generate images. So clicking on the models. So this is the different models that can be selected. And I don't know if we wanted to try the same prompt in the different models and see what happens. But for people that have done more prompting with the image creation, does somebody else want to give a whack at this or just verbally or auditorily walk me through what we should put in here? First, let's choose what model we want or what model. You want to just use the default one?
Sure.
All right, we'll leave it on that. So generate an image privately.
Yeah, so it's like you need an object and in a setting. That object could be an expansive landscape, or it could be like a small object in an expansive landscape.
So let's just think here. We're today like the main theme of day 3 is unpacking AI art generation. So let's try to create like let's use this as like what we may use for our day 3 NFT. And real quick before we do that, is everybody like good with just using this image for day 2 with like a slight modification?
Yeah, no objection.
Cool. So prompt. Let's see. Oh,
A
did
box. So we could start with a box. Since we're unpacking.
well, let's actually destroy the box with AI art generators. Um, let's see, Adobe Photo, Adobe Fireflies, Firefly, uh, Doll E tools, art generators for inspiration. And I don't know if these need to be comma separated. I don't know enough, like I said, about prompting. I'm gonna Dolly Venice dot Venice.ai and what's Canva's website? Canva.com. Should we just see what that does?
Um,
I'm like I said, I'm completely new at this prompting stuff.
we like images of gallery. Use images. Yeah, so like use for inspiration. Sorry.
Change art
That was
generators. Yeah.
um I would say
I think it's going to have a problem with destroy the box because it's not
Doesn't know what that
saying
is.
what you want. Yeah. So if you wanted a box destroyed by or um, a, a box just, a destroyed box, that would be
yeah,
clearer um, because that's an object, whereas you've given it a verb and it
yeah.
probably won't know what to do with that.
And I would
You're
say
probably
that likewise
But
with
it'd
the
be interesting to see.
inspiration.
well. Let's click on the go and see what we get.
Yeah, I would say likewise with the inspiration. Like you might want to say use
Yeah.
nature and nice.
Is this a pile of poo on fire in a box? We got a flaming poo emoji, everybody.
No, we'll say that's Web 2 tools. Web 2, this is a meme, right? Those are Web 2 tools going up in smoke.
It doesn't do text and it doesn't do people well, consistently, right? Maybe you just have to say the right things to it, but in my experience, it just cannot get those things right.
So, well, that's laughable anyway. So what should we let's see take off
So probably you want like a box exploding with ideas or something, that tells it a little bit more about what should be around and in the box.
let's just try that.
And it'll do light bulbs for ideas, you watch. Oh, it's a cauliflower.
Um, let's see. It's still in the box though, huh?
What about I wonder if it knows about
I would
the concept of thinking outside the box. Go on, Ernest.
I would change the inspiration. Be like, I mean, you know, ins use inspirations, use nature and outer space as inspirations, or use a wetland as inspiration.
Yeah, because this doesn't probably give us, it's not getting anything off of this. What and we also have different models that we can also explore. It's still in the box though. I want to see the box destroyed. Let's see on
You
other
say
models.
a box crushed by a fallen log. Like, I think you
Um,
might have to give it the other object that destroys the box.
Box crushed by an army of robots. Or I'm going to put destroyed.
After all this, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable that the robot overlords are not immediately going to take us over, so we're good.
100%.
I could absolutely like I wouldn't have any problem using this one because that's kind of where I feel that we're at. Just this milling amount of chaos in boxes. I actually kind of do like this one. Because we're not quite to the point of destroying any boxes with our evolution of using AI tooling here. Let's see. I don't know what the download looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it maybe puts a watermark on it.
That's supposed to be removed.
Oh, okay. Maybe when you download it.
Yeah. No, it looks like the watermark is still there. Um, and I don't know if I care too much about that. I have no problem promoting Venice from an ethos standpoint. Um, so what is everybody's thoughts? I mean, like with where I'm at with thinking that we haven't done one piece of content and we're now about to be done with day three. This is something that I would rather just like continue to experiment with and get better and better. And but I think for me anyway, this image best summarizes where I feel. And I don't know if Tyler can relate with the amount of chaos that I see in this image here, but that kind of yeah.
It's hilarious. And I think it actually also, it also for me sums up the superficiality of actually, I did say that I'm not all that pro AI, although I recognize that it's a good tool. But for me, it's very superficial, right? As soon as you start looking at the detail of this image, you realize that it's not like spatially accurate. Like that cardboard box in the middle, and then the robot next to it is sort of like there's no edge on the box, and then there's another weird box behind it. And that generally is the case with AI images, is that you can usually find something that's just not quite right. And, as Tyler said, it's kind of comforting to know that they're not going to take over anytime soon. But also just that like that image would do for, probably what you needed it for a tweet or whatever, but it doesn't really cut it when you start to look closely. And for me, that represents the kind of lack of substance that we've got happening now, where it's all very shiny on the surface, but not really that impressive when you start looking closely.
Yeah, and it's you think about like I could personally, as a perfectionist, and this is one of the reasons that I love live streaming, is that it really prevents some of the perfectionistic tendencies that I have. Because like once it goes live, it's kind of out there, and to like pull it back or to change it or whatever is it's like, but then on the flip side, like one of the tools that I have that I don't use that much is Camtasia, which allows, a lot of post-production capabilities. But then, you think about creating, like here, we're talking about 180 days potentially, and not going to be doing 24/7, 365 or 180 here, but uh, just creating like a little placeholder in an image, because I think most of us would recognize that most people are pretty visual people, and just having like a little reference point visually to things. And that's kind of what this does to me, is it provides a nice kind of like inflection point as far as some of the chaos with what is coming, and like people being confused, and like how, because at the end of the day, we as uh practitioners need to be very thoughtful about solving problems for people and not getting hung up on some of the details, but just like, working towards a better future. Because like for a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, like, they probably largely neglect creating any sort of content for their business, because that's just kind of like something that's proliferated here in the 21st century. And a lot of small businesses are losing out on potential branding or messaging because they don't have the time or the money to potentially, have a team. And this is, I think, the big value proposition of AI agents, is training them how to get better and better, and then just working with them kind of casually, like through auditory or chat prompts, your team of AI agents to do the thing. And your thing is, like at the end of the day, when you're talking about businesses, it's serving the customer and taking care, and making their life better through whatever types of services that your business is offering. So I think that I'm good with calling this our day 3 NFT. And again, I'm probably just going to put like a little thing. I might even cover up the Venice logo. That's something that I'll have to unpack, because fairly certain here that the pro version, and this is, I'm going to go back to incognito window with Venice AI, but when I was looking at the pricing, I think it was supposed to pricing. We did the monthly $18 a month. Yeah, let's see. I wonder if it's on yearly. No, right here, no image watermark. So I don't know why it has the Venice watermark, but definitely give the attribution to that for Venice AI, and probably should also give the attribution to the underlying Fluently Excel final framework. So I'm going to take a screenshot here just for personal reference, because a lot of the stuff on the video will get lost. But so looking at the time here, one of the things that just to add as a next action item, a tool, if somebody wants to take, does somebody want to take an action to explore Leonardo AI? And this is like for, it's not a high priority thing, but I'm going to
Uh,
be
I'm
pers
I'm
go
going to
ahead,
have a look at
TrueCat.
it. Yeah, I don't know exactly, what might come out of it, but I'll certainly be having a look at it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's, choose your own adventure. That's the ethos of the way that we roll here. And we're not forced to do anything. And but do love, and this is again, I think, one of the opportunities that we have through a collaborative spirit to really create some great content. And one of the things, I don't know how well I finished that thought over here on that next action item, um, create content, speaking of these AI combined with A. And one of the things I like seeing is a matrix with features, i.e., API, etc. Like a features comparison matrix. And I see Ernest is putting some stuff in here. Leonardo.ai, thanks for putting that in there. Pixlr, and then also, like, I think we collectively agreed, at least Ernest and I, that our next tools working group is going to be an Eliza OS deep dive, which I believe is the underlying stuff for AI16Z, but that's something that we'll have a little bit understanding. But the next office hours, I'm going to take a
Yeah,
look, get
we
the
got to install it. We
what do you
got to
have to
figure out how
install, Ernest?
we got to install it and basically do a walkthrough of the GitHub. There's a quick start guide, um, but there's a in I basically my next step is to go through the prerequisites in the GitHub. So there's some applications that's mentioned in the prerequisites. Once I have those applications downloaded to my laptop, then I can um, run whatever following GitHub instructions follow to get Eliza installed on my computer.
Nice. Yeah, and one of the things that I'm really going to be unpacking is the demo that they did on the Nader, the Daybit 3 for here fairly recently with Eliza. Um, but to change gears here a little bit, and this is geeking out quite a lot, but one of the you think about these AI agents, one of the tools of communicating is still email in a lot of different ways. Because what will likely happen is that these AI agents should be managing their own social media account. And, there's notifications around different sorts of things, newsletters that come in via email. And this is where we need to have some sort of mail server within our agentic architecture that our AI agents can use. And it looks like Dovecot is probably the best open source email server for us to look at putting in place. But that's definitely something that we need to be thoughtful of. And whether we use Dovecot or potentially Amazon Simple Email Service, but those are really probably the two considerations. But that's a much different conversation than using AI tooling in the AI agents. That's yeah. But anyway, going back over here to our tab for our AiAgents.Box, our 180-day live stream challenge. We've got a few minutes left here. Always want to be respectful of everybody's time. I'm going to stop screen sharing and just open it up for anybody's thoughts to bring this to a close here for our tools working group. And before I do that, I'm going to leave it on one more picture of agents in the box, not destroying any boxes yet. But we want to make our agents smart where they destroy some of these legacy boxes that we've been operating in. But I'm going to stop the share and stop talking and let anybody else chime in some thoughts.
I dropped in a Notion page in the chat where I got a blog post made from today's meeting. It doesn't have everything from this meeting um, in it, but I can work on that after this meeting if the blog post that first draft that's already been made is looks pretty good.
No,
And then I can even take that blog post and generate what the final blog post and then generate some social media posts from it.
Yeah, no, absolutely love that. And I'm not sure what it's going to look like because I haven't done. And I'll go ahead. We could take that conversation offline, Ernest, but I would have no problem adding you as a admin on the super fresh. Gonna plug that here real quick since I fired up this screen share here for everybody to smash the subscribe button on our brand new blog newsletter that doesn't have any content, but that will likely change here. Oh, see, this is concerning. Don't like seeing that. I needed to open up a ticket with not paragraph, but I don't think that this would be a paragraph. I think that that's a DNS issue with 3DNS. So anyway, we can take that offline, and I'll look at the why the DNS isn't working here too for our blog. But anyway, I'm going to stop share again. That was a less than fulfilling screen share that I went on back live. But anyway, any other final thoughts? Love the direction that we're going in here and the pace that we're moving. And I think that that's only going to amplify when we actually start getting better at figuring out how to get out of the box ourselves, because this just amplifies how little that I've done to interact with chat bots in with AI and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird, the prompt thing, like, because we know how to communicate with people, and when we're communicating with people, we're just like, we're either just going to avoid them if we're uncomfortable, or we're going to crack a joke, right? But then that cracking a joke leads to whatever the conversation is. And so for me, it's helped that, okay, what the AI needs is a well-written prompt. If it's going to kick back to you what you're requesting from it, it needs to be able to do what you're asking of it first, but then the better you are, and that's work. That's going to be the work, right? Is writing 100-word prompt in order to kick out a task that is,
Well,
you know,
my expectation,
saving
Ernest,
you
is
10, 20 hours of work.
my expectation, Ernest, is that the prompting is going to be transition from me, the person behind the keyboard, to the AI agent that's in my Yonks team design studio, or whatever special agent or however that we implement that, where it will be the AI agent that we deploy that'll actually be doing the prompting and will be evolving to get better at communicating with the LLMs and other things that are actually doing all the stuff. That's my expectation.
So that's
Yeah,
really meta, using AI to produce AI prompts.
That's why AI agents are so magical.
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I noticed too at one of the podcasts I listened to earlier. When this guy, right, he needs like a clerk, he needs several business office tasks that are highly repetitive, that do require talking with other applications, and do require communicating, maybe getting more information from a client. And you have one that's designed to do one task really well, and then another one to do another one really well, and now you have an office team of essentially the little specialized micro agents running your office. But you still gotta, like, do what you're there to do, and still have relationships with clients and stuff like that if you're trying to
Yeah,
create a business or whatever. But
the person that's is the agent orchestrator, and that's where I think that us learning how to create great frameworks that make it easy for people like small businesses, because like let's be honest, like here in the United States, most of the jobs are still done by small businesses, and most small business people don't have the time, the energy, or the expertise to unpack the latest developments in AI technology. And by us being able to open source, and then the magic really starts happening with the network effect, because we can build out special agents that provide value, where that reduces the learning curve, where our special agents that we architect, like within the AI agents framework, AiAgents.Box framework, can, where the individual small business person doesn't necessarily have to design their special agent, like for whatever. But I'm just thinking out loud here, but that's kind of like what I understand as far as the opportunities, and that's why early adoption on some of this stuff, and then also more importantly, the network effect is really where the magic happens. And the agents really, from my understanding, allow the ownership to come to the person, the orchestrator who is wanting to benefit from the results that will occur with these team of AI agents. And that's one of the things that, like, thinking about with what we're building and on-chain ambassadors and, just helping individuals have their own AI agent where we can substantially reduce the time to market and allow people to just be more effective and amplify themselves and figure out how to navigate this. Because again, we're all learning here, and I think collaborative learning, and I'm very much a kinetic learner. I learn by doing, always have. And anyway, but we're already 4 minutes past. Love hanging out here. I can talk about this stuff all day long. I'm going to stop talking and let anybody else chime in some thoughts. Otherwise, we will bring it to a close here. All right. We'll have our office hours tomorrow. I'll get that Let Us Meet created. I'll take a look at the calendar. I might just schedule it. That time slot that we've been meeting at seems to be working out pretty well, but I've got to take a look at my calendar tomorrow and Friday, and really excited, Ernest, to collaborate on the Eliza OS tools working group. That's the one that I'm very excited about putting some infrastructure initially in place for starting to build out the Yonks team AI agents, minions, and task force to do all the things, because we're wanting to ramp up some marketing efforts here for an event in Boulder at the end of the month on January 30th. But we'll talk more about that through some other conversations. But thanks everybody. Until next time, make sure to subscribe.